Hello, and welcome back to The Very Boring Historian. I am here to help you drift peacefully into the past, where tonight we'll explore a world of endless stairs, heavy buckets, and invisible labor. Before we begin this gentle journey through Victorian domestic life, take a moment to settle in. Perhaps adjust your pillow, pull up that blanket, and let yourself sink a little deeper into comfort. Tonight, we're stepping into the worn shoes of a Victorian housemaid, discovering why a single week in service would test every muscle in your body and every fiber of your patience. This isn't a story of dramatic upheavals or grand adventures. Instead, it's the quiet tale of daily endurance, of lives lived in the shadows of grand staircases, of young women whose names history rarely recorded, but whose labor made the Victorian world possible. If you find yourself drifting off during our journey, that's perfectly wonderful. These stories of the past are here to accompany you gently toward sleep. And if you're still listening at the end, perhaps you'll have gained a new appreciation for the simple luxury of a day off, central heating, and the right to complain about your working conditions. So let's begin. Close your eyes if you'd like, and let me transport you to a foggy London morning in 1887. It's 4:30 in the morning, and the world outside your tiny attic window is still cloaked in darkness. London's winter fog presses against the glass like a gray blanket, and somewhere in the distance a church bell chimes the half-hour. You've been asleep for perhaps 5 hours if you're fortunate. More likely 4, because last night Lady Pemberton entertained guests until well past midnight, and the drawing room needed attention after they departed. Your bed is narrow, just wide enough for your slight frame, with a thin horsehair mattress that has molded itself to the shape of countless maids before you. The single wool blanket provides modest warmth, but here in the servants' quarters under the roof, the cold seeps through the slates and settles in your bones. Your breath forms small clouds in the frigid air as you force yourself to wake. There's no alarm clock in your room. Your body has learned to wake before dawn through necessity and fear. Mrs. Henderson, the head housekeeper, has made it abundantly clear that oversleeping is grounds for immediate dismissal without references. Without references, you would join the thousands of unemployed women walking London streets, and that thought alone is enough to pull you from even the deepest sleep. You reach for the matches on your bedside table, striking one to light the stub of candle you've been saving. Candles cost money, and your wages of £12 per year must stretch to cover not just your personal needs, but also the small contributions you send home to your family in the countryside. Every penny counts when you earn less in a month than a gentleman might spend on a single dinner. The floorboards creak under your bare feet as you pour cold water from the pitcher into your wash basin. The water has formed a thin skin of ice during the night, which you break with your fingers before splashing your face. There's no time for a proper wash now. That luxury, if it can be called such, will wait until your half-day off next month. Your uniform hangs on the single peg driven into the wall. Black woolen dress, high-necked and long-sleeved, designed to render you as invisible as possible while you move through the family's spaces. Over this, a white cotton apron that must remain spotless despite the nature of your work, and a small white cap that marks your position in the household hierarchy. Housemaids wear white caps. Kitchen maids wear different caps. Parlor maids wear yet another style. These distinctions matter enormously to Mrs. Henderson, though they likely escape the notice of the family you serve. As you dress, you can hear the stirrings of other servants beginning their day. Mary, the scullery maid, has been awake even longer than you, already lighting the kitchen fires that will warm the water for the family's morning tea. Cook won't rise for another hour, but the preparation for the day's meals begins before dawn. The machinery of the Victorian household runs on a precise schedule, each servant a cog in a mechanism designed to create effortless comfort for those who sleep in the warm rooms below. You pin your cap securely, knowing that Mrs. Henderson will inspect every aspect of your appearance. A loose strand of hair, a wrinkled apron, or heaven forbid, a stain on your dress, will result in a sharp reprimand and possibly a fine deducted from your already meager wages. The Victorian household operates on the principle that servants should be useful but invisible, present but unnoticed, and always immaculate. Your first task each morning is to descend through the house like a reverse ghost, bringing light and warmth to rooms that will soon welcome the family. You carry a wooden box containing the tools of your trade, cleaning rags, dusting cloths, matches, and small brushes. The stairs creak under your feet, despite your attempts at silence. The family must not be disturbed by the sounds of preparation that make their comfort possible. The grand staircase that you clean each day is a marvel of Victorian craftsmanship. Mahogany banister carved with intricate designs, brass fittings that gleam like gold, and carpet runners held in place by brass rods. To the family, it's simply the way they move between floors. To you, it's a daily challenge requiring 45 minutes of careful attention. Each brass rod must be polished until it shines. Each carpet runner must be brushed and straightened. Each wooden surface must be dusted and treated with lemon oil. You begin with the brass, using a mixture of vinegar, salt, and flour that cook allows you to take from the kitchen stores. The paste must be applied evenly, then polished away with soft cloths until each fitting gleams. Your hands grow cold and rough from the constant cleaning, but gloves are a luxury you cannot afford. The brass must shine because Lady Pemberton has been known to run her gloved finger along the banister, checking for dust or tarnish. A single scud result in your dismissal. The carpet requires a different kind of attention. You use a stiff brush to work against the nap, lifting dirt and debris that has accumulated since yesterday's cleaning. Victorian carpets are elaborate affairs with complex patterns that hide dust but reveal every stain. The carpet on the main staircase cost more than you will earn in 5 years, a fact that Mrs. Henderson reminds you of regularly as she instructs you on proper care techniques. As you work, the house gradually awakens around you. The family will not rise for several hours yet, but the other servants are beginning their routines. You can hear the clink of china from the kitchen as Mary prepares the breakfast service, the soft footsteps of the parlor maid as she tends to the morning room, and occasionally the voice of Mrs. Henderson as she issues instructions to the day's staff. The windows along the staircase provide your first real view of the day. London stretches beyond the glass, a city of chimney pots and church spires emerging from the morning fog. Somewhere out there, in houses much like this one, other young women are beginning their own days of invisible labor. You wonder about them sometimes as you polish and clean, imagining their lives running parallel to yours, all of you bound by the same routines of service and silence. By 6 o'clock, the main staircase gleams in the growing light. Your back aches from bending and stretching, and your knees are sore from kneeling on the stairs. But there's no time to rest. The family's rooms await, and each must be perfect before they wake. The family's bedrooms exist in a different world from the servants' quarters. Here, thick carpets muffle your footsteps. Heavy curtains block the cold and create perpetual twilight. Fireplaces with elaborate mantels stand ready to warm rooms that are already more comfortable than anywhere you've ever lived. Your job is to maintain this comfort while remaining as invisible as the air the family breathes. You begin with the master bedroom, moving through the space with practiced quiet. Sir Charles and Lady Pemberton sleep behind bed curtains that cost more than most people's annual wages, but even the faintest sound could wake them and earn you a scolding. You tiptoe to the fireplace, where yesterday's ashes must be cleared and a new fire laid before the family wakes. The art of fire laying is one that took you months to master. First, you clear the grate of cold ash, careful not to let any dust escape into the pristine room. Then comes the careful arrangement of kindling, the precise placement of coal, the gentle coaxing of flame from paper and match. The fire must catch quickly and burn cleanly, without smoke or excessive crackling that might disturb the sleeping family. Victorian fireplaces are hungry beasts that consume coal at an alarming rate. The coal scuttle beside each fireplace must be filled daily, requiring multiple trips to the coal cellar in the basement. Each scuttle holds perhaps 50 pounds of coal, and there are 8 fireplaces in the family's rooms alone. By the end of each day, you will have carried hundreds of pounds of coal up flights of stairs, your back protesting with each step. While the fire establishes itself, you turn to dusting. Every surface in a Victorian bedroom holds treasures that represent more wealth than you'll see in a lifetime. Lady Pemberton's dressing table displays silver brushes with elaborate handles, crystal perfume bottles that catch the light like jewels, and a jewelry box made from exotic wood and mother of pearl. Each item must be lifted, the surface beneath cleaned, and the object replaced in exactly the same position. You've memorized the arrangement of every room, because moving something even slightly can result in questions and suspicion. Victorian families are deeply attached to the precise arrangement of their possessions. A hairbrush moved 2 inches to the left or a perfume bottle turned to face a different direction can cause genuine distress to a lady, accustomed to finding everything exactly where she left it. The bedroom's heavy curtains must be adjusted to allow just enough light for the family's eventual awakening while maintaining the room's warmth. This is a delicate balance that changes with the seasons and weather. Too much light and Lady Pemberton will complain of being awakened too early. Too little, and she'll find the room gloomy when she rises. Fresh water must be provided for morning washing, heated to the precise temperature that experience has taught you each family member prefers. Sir Charles likes his water quite warm, almost hot, while Lady Pemberton prefers hers barely heated. The young master, home from university, wants his water cold, claiming it helps him wake more effectively. These preferences must be remembered and accommodated without fail. As you move through each bedroom, you notice the signs of lives lived in comfort that you can barely imagine. Silk nightgowns abandoned carelessly on chairs represent more money than you earn in 6 months. Books left open beside beds remind you that while you struggle with basic reading, these people consume literature for pleasure. Empty wine glasses on bedside tables speak of evening entertainments that continue long after your own workday ends. The inequality doesn't strike you as unfair so much as simply the way the world operates. You were born into service as surely as Lady Pemberton was born to be served. This acceptance is both your survival strategy and your prison, making it possible to function in this world while making it nearly impossible to imagine any other. If there's one thing that will defeat you as a Victorian housemaid, it's the stairs. Not the grand staircase that the family uses with its wide steps and elegant curve, but the narrow servants' stairs that connect the basement kitchens to the attic bedrooms. These stairs are your highway and your nemesis, the route you'll climb dozens of times each day, carrying buckets of water, scuttles of coal, and armloads of linens.